I thought I would make just some comments about 25 years of the Bard Graduate Center because, as we heard last night from some of the speakers, we have reached the ripe young age of 25, and a lot has happened here. First of all, I would like to say that in the early years, we had many discussions and fights about terminology for this field. You know, were we applied arts? Were we decorative arts? Were we design? What were we? Were we craft? Were we folklore? Were we material culture? And we've given up on that. Um, we we use all those terms here. Um, One really doesn't stand for anything more than another here. And it's also reflected in the fact that we've changed our name 3 times in 25 years. And I can't imagine what our new name will be soon. So we started, as you know, as the Bard Graduate Center for Decorative Arts. We then added design history, and then we added material culture. Can any of you think of something else we should add now? It's getting to be a very long name, so we just call ourselves BGC. Um, in 25 years, this place has been stretched. Um, it has grown through faculty involvement, faculty hirings. When we began, there were no faculty. Um, no one wanted to take a chance on a sort of thrown together new institution led by what the press called me, what was I, some billionaire dilettante. And it's been a wonderful but hard climb. We now have, when I last counted, 16 full time faculty. Um, and in areas as diverse as the ancient world to contemporary craft, with the addition of Alyssa Author, who has changed, I must say, the tenor of this place. For someone who only teaches one course a semester, wow, we feel your presence here. Um, so students come in with different ideas. They stretch us as well with their master's theses, with their PhD dissertations. If you remember when we began, the MA was our terminal degree. We then decided that to get recognition and to better place our students, we needed a PhD. And I decided that if we were going to have a PhD program, I better get my own PhD. And I had real trouble finding an intellectual platform or seat for myself. So I wound up transplanting my family and going to spend a number of years at the Victoria and Albert Museum in the humanities program with the Royal College of Art. And that really changed my life because I had always had a yearning for contextual work. And there I found it, particularly under the guidance of my beloved supervisor, Clive Wainwright. And we came back here and started thinking about a PhD program. And I must say, our first year was a bit of a disaster. We took in 8 or 9 students, some of them who hadn't been back in an academic setting for a long time but had worked in the field. And I would say that a third of them dropped out after a semester. The fit wasn't good. So we decided to start small. We took the following year 2 or 3, and now we take 5 or 6. And frankly, we could take more, but we don't have the funding. to have many more than that. We have graduated, I would say, in 25 years, close to 500 students, and they're all over the world. I mean, when I travel to do my own research or to look for exhibition pieces, um, I'm often met by a former student who is in curatorial work, who's teaching somewhere, and they are my best ambassadors, frankly. And they make me proud every day. And coming here to work never feels like work because of the students here. Um, I have a wish, and some of our trustees are making it possible that in 2 years' time, all students who come to the Bard Graduate Center will be fully funded. And we are a third of the way there in terms of raising endowment money. And that would be really the last leg of what my dream for this place is. We've come a long way, as you know, in 25 years. Some of you have watched us grow. Some of you have partaken of our studies here. Many of you come to our exhibitions and partake in our symposia. And I'm not quite sure what the next 25 years are going to look like. We've gotten to this place because of collaboration. The Museum of Art and Design has been a two-way street for us for many years. And it was cemented really with the funding by Wingate of our newest adjunct faculty member. And we have, when I look at who works at the at MAD, my God, it's a long list of our students. Museums in the city all over the world have been so generous in sending us curators to teach here, their treasures for our exhibitions. And I just, this field has grown, we have grown, and people keep asking me, well, what do you want for the next 25 years? And I say to them that what I foresee or hope for is that I can finally one day retire and get back to my own work on a more full-time basis. That, as I mentioned, students who have interest can come here and be supported. And that we're flexible enough to grow as the field grows, and to understand what people are interested in studying, and be able to provide the support for them to pursue their studies. What else should I tell you? Our studies, as well as our exhibitions and our publications, are grounded in craft. We have done the astounding number I learned yesterday, 70 exhibitions in 25 years, some more successful than others. And as you know, they've ranged from our first exhibition, which was along the Royal Road, KPM porcelain and Veduta painting, to an exhibition we have now on Agents of Faith, ex voto. And the wonderful progress, not just in subject matter, has been that the first exhibition, we basically imported expertise. With this newest exhibition, faculty now are the engineers and the curators, as well as graduate students in exhibition work. So our gallery is no longer, a showpiece for us. I always thought of it as the sort of football team or soccer team of the Bard Graduate Center, but it's now more of a integrated laboratory where faculty and students work together. And I continue, as I keep telling you, to learn from our students. They delve into areas that I never even thought about or thought could be studied, and somehow we we all band together, and those PhDs have been incredibly impressive. And I'm just very thrilled to be here in front of you today, even though I'm a last minute fill in. And I'd like to comment on the shared ground title. I don't know how you came up with it, but the collaborative aspect to it really made me think about how it's just like the perfect description of what we do here at the Bard Graduate Center. We share everything here in this space, and it just made me think, wow, if I had nerve, that would really be, the title of this place. And so I'd like to thank our co-participants, MAD, the staff here at the BGC, and the Wingate Foundation, which I must tell you has sponsored, what were you telling me, Catherine? 8 graduate students, 5 faculty members over the years.
In conjunction with the Center for Craft.
And
facilitated.
and you enrich us in just so many ways. Now I'd like to introduce Marilyn Zaff, who is the Assistant Director and Curator at the Center for Craft, where she has organized and curated a number of exhibitions, including the nationally traveling Made in WNC and G's Bend from Quilt to Prince. She's currently a trustee of the American Crafts Council and working on a retrospective of ceramic artist Michael Sherrill to open later this year at the Mint Museum of Craft and Design. She holds an MA in the History of Design from the Royal College of Art and Victoria and Albert Museum, and a BA English Literature and BFA Jewelry and Metalworking from the University of Georgia. So thank you for attending, for collaborating with us, and for being here today. I look forward to spending more time with all of you.
Thank you so much, Susan. It's really amazing to hear about the development of the Bard Graduate Center program from such an inspiring person. It's going to be a little bit hard to follow that, I think. Welcome, and welcome back. There are so many new faces in the audience. It's great to kick off the second day of the Shared Ground Symposium. Last night we had a really, I thought, provocative and exciting discussion and listened to 5 different perspectives on craft from different disciplines. And for me, the big takeaways were those moments of divergence and convergence, where we kind of started to see the differences and similarities of the way craft can be used in different disciplines. And what was most exciting to me was then to think about what new possibilities opened up when we started to kind of share from different disciplines and think about what the impact of those sort of dialogues and cross-pollination could be. So I'm really excited to continue those conversations today. Since we do have some new people here today, I thought I'd very briefly go into a little bit of the background and context that I talked about last night, and provide a little framework of why we're here again. So the symposium was organized between myself and Catherine Whalen at the Bard Graduate Center and Elisa Author who, as you've heard, shares a position between Bard Graduate Center, the Center for Craft, and the Museum of Arts and Design. So we've been talking about this for, over 2 years, but I think the moment that, we decided this really needed to happen was when we were all at a craft think tank in 2016, which really assessed the kind of state of craft in academia. And it was really about taking stock of the field, noting key trends and opportunities, including the increasing number of established and emerging scholars who were interested in topics in craft history, the greater attention to materiality, or what we've become talking about as the material turn, the increasing interdisciplinarity of the field and craft being taught through multiple different approaches, and combining the academic traditions of the humanities and social sciences with the learning by doing pedagogy. The field has been really exponentially growing over the past decade, and there seems to be this renewed interest and increasing interest in craft studies. And so what greater a moment than to come together and sort of share that moment and take stock about where we're going and where the study of craft should be going in the future. One of the most important objectives to our planning process was that the symposium was really accessible and legible across disciplines. And so for this, we invited leading scholars in the fields of art history, decorative arts, design studies, anthropology, and science and technology studies to participate and advise in the conference planning throughout the whole process. So many of you heard from these 5 presenters last night during the keynote discussion, but you will also hear from them again today as session and tomorrow as session moderators. Another goal of the symposium was to share and record new craft research. And so to this end, we are recording and live streaming all of the conference proceedings. So hello, everyone virtually. You'll also be able to access an archive of the presentations on the Shared Ground website. And we do encourage you to capture your favorite quotes and images on social media using the hashtag SharedGround2018. I just wanted to leave you all with a few questions about craft studies that I have and that I hope that we can keep in mind during our discussions today. So some of these are, how can we continue to build bridges and strengthen connections between those who study craft in different disciplines? How could we position craft-related study as an approach without a set of canonical objects or methodological hierarchies? How can we understand craft's role in production, mediation, and consumption across cultural contexts and geographic areas, past and present? And how can we build a tent big enough to include as many people, scholars, makers that craft touches without having to permanently claim a set of participants? In a nutshell, does craft study exist? And if so, what is it? I look forward to digging into these questions with all of you today. Again, thank you to the Wingate Foundation, to the Museum of Arts and Design, Bard Graduate Center, and my co-organizers, Catherine and Elisa. Thanks again to the working group and all the speakers, especially the teams working behind the scenes of MAD, BGC, and the Center for Craft, who really made this possible.